Video, I'm going to show you what is Python and what it is about and how to get it running in your computer. It is likely that your computer might already have Python, but it doesn't matter. We will start from a package from an application called Anaconda. And once you download this application, you will have a Python environment to play with, no matter what computer you have. So go to anaconda.com and you will land in this page. In this page, you click on the link that says free download, and then you either provide your email and agree to receive communication, or you skip registration and you can start downloading Anaconda. Pick your operating system. It's usually selected here, and click download. I have it downloaded, but you can download and install it. Once you install it, you will have it available in your computer. Start that application. It's called Anaconda Navigator. And when you start it, you will see like a green circle on the screen. It might not show up on the screen, but after a while, you will be presented with a host of applications, all Python related. It takes a little bit to start, but I believe it's a good encapsulated environment for you to learn Python, regardless of what Python version is in your computer. In this case, if I were to download Anaconda from here, it tells me the Python version for each operating system. So Anaconda is starting up, and we will run it momentarily. So Anaconda Navigator is now up, and you will see that you have this window here with a left-hand side menu, which we're not going to talk about much. This class is not about this, but it is about these applications here. All these applications are good for data science. So Anaconda is mainly a package that has applications for data science. And some of these applications have an install button and some have a launch button. To learn Python, everything you need is already installed. You just need to launch it. So Python is a programming language. You will learn how to program in Python in this video series. Now, a programming language is a language that is very limited with very limited instructions. And if you put them in sequence, you can create a step-by-step recipe of what to do. Okay? So, for example, in Python, the way you tell the screen to print something on the screen, to display text on the screen, is with the command print. And we're going to see this command. So for Python, you have mainly three ways of operating in Python, and they're here in these applications. You have a console, in this case Qt console, but any console will do. You have a console. You have something like Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook. You have a notebook kind of application. And you have an IDE, an interface development environment, such as Spider or VS Code. So let's look at all three environments to see what they offer and what they cannot offer. So let's start with the console, the Qt console. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to launch it. And as I launch it, you will see that I will be presented again with this application. Is very simple. And in here, I can type Python commands. So for example, I can say print, open parentheses, open quotes, hello. And then if I hit enter, it will display hello. I can also say something like 34 plus 98 times parentheses 98.7. There you go. And it will display the result. So here, I type one statement and I get the result. Type another statement and I get the result. But when I finish working here, when I close this, I lose all of my work. So if I quit here and I say, oh, what was that result again? I don't have it anymore. If I launch this again, that result is lost. Now, see, I start anew. Now, when do I want to use this? Well, when I want to test little things here and there. And I quit. Now, we also have something like Visual Studio Code, for example, or Spider. These are both IDEs, okay, interface development environments. So let me say I launch Visual Studio Code. And when you launch Visual Studio Code, you will be presented with a very sophisticated editor to modify your code here, right? This is the first time I open it. In here, I can go to File, or if you have a Mac, you'll go all the way to the top of the screen, but you go to File, New File, and you say Python file, and you can type the same thing, print hello, and then let's also have the operation that I wanted to do. So 3 plus 4 times 98 divided by 7, something like that. And if I want to run this, I play and I run it. It's going to ask me to save this, okay? And I can save this. I will save it in my downloads folder for now. Whoops, my downloads folder. And I will save it as test.py. All Python files end in py. That's how the computer knows it has Python in it. So here's my Python file, and then it's going to start running. It'll print hello, and this is because the console will print everything you give to it. A file, a program file, will only print if you say print. So if I tell it to print this, okay, and I run it, it'll print hello and then the result of my computation. The good thing about this program is that I can save it, File, Save, and I can close this. And if I open it again, if I launch it again, I can recover that file. So I don't, you see, it opens by default, but if not, I can always go File, Open File, and look for it. And I can load programs that are very complicated that I really did not want to lose. So for example, I can open a program, a Python program. Let me see if I have another Python program here that I can open. Well, I know I have some here. For example, I might have a Python program here that I want to open. It's going to ask me if I want to trust this program. And I did not want to lose these instructions, whatever they mean. Don't worry about that. But I did not want to lose them. So I can save these files in programs and I can play them over and over, fix them a little bit. Oh, this was not divided by 7. It was actually 8, right? And then you save this again. And this persists. This stays. So that is working with an IDE. The one thing, though, is that when you run this, you run the whole program. So we have the console that runs instruction by instruction, one at a time. Visual Studio, but forgets everything. Once you close it, it's gone. We have an editor, an IDE, such as VS Code or Spider, that can save full programs, but I can run the whole thing. I cannot run parts of the program. But we have then Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook, or the notebook architecture, which is actually a midpoint. I can write a program, but I can run it in segments, in pieces, and I can document programs really well. When I hit launch in Jupyter Lab, it will open in my web browser. This is a web-based application. So it takes a little bit to open, but when it opens, it will display a document. You can create a document here where you will see I had something open here. Okay, this is for another video, but I had something open here where I can put like text, and then I can put pieces of code that I can run individually. This whole thing together is one big program that does a bunch of things, but I can run it in pieces and I can be testing my code so that I don't write I don't spend, hours writing something and then it doesn't work. And then every time I want to find out what was it, or every time I tweak it, I have to run the whole thing. Here you can just tweak the piece you want to tweak and run that piece, and everything else is as if it works. It just works. This, I will say, is an optimal environment to start learning Python, in my view, and we're going to start learning Python in a Jupyter notebook. Now, I can go back to Anaconda, right? Now, all these Python environments, the console, the IDE, and the notebook sort of paradigm, they're not absolutely exclusive. For example, in VS Code, you can also have a mode to write as if you were working with Jupyter Labs, but that is because VS Code allows it. Some programs allow you to go beyond the scope of what they do. But in general, an IDE allows you to create full programs that you have to run the whole thing every time you want to run something. The console allows you to run one statement at a time, and you can create a very complex program, but when you quit the console, that's it. You quit the console and you lost your program. A notebook architecture such as Jupyter Notebooks or Jupyter Lab is just a more complete version of Notebook, allows you to create a program in chunks, in what Jupyter calls cells. And in these cells, you run pieces of the program and you start piecing it together. So if something fails, you just fix that something that failed and you don't have to run the whole program again. This is particularly important in data science, where you can load large amounts of data, and you don't want to load the large amount of data and do some processing every time you change your program. Instead, you just load your data, do some processing, and if something fails further down the line, you just fix that. The data is already loaded, the program is run up to that point. We will talk more about Jupyter Labs as we talk about Python in the future. Thanks for listening, subscribe, and be ready for the next video in the series.